Good morning, guys. I decided to take you on my morning routine since I'm getting back on track after the holidays and stepping into this new year. So I thought it'd be a good time to make a morning's routine video to show you my exact morning routine. So I started off by getting out of bed. You didn't get to see, but I have a sunrise alarm clock that my husband had already turned off before I could film it. But the first thing I do is just head to brush my teeth and get dressed. I set out my clothes the night before that I want to work out in, so that's just what I take time to do first thing. So then I head downstairs to make some hot tea. This is actually a switch that I recently did because I read the book Change Your Schedule, Change Your Life, and I implemented intermittent fasting. And because I used to drink coffee with creamer, that would break my fast before the 12 hours I was going for. So instead I switched to tea, which doesn't break my fast because it doesn't have creamer. So I start off the morning, as soon as I get downstairs, making myself a cup of hot tea. This morning I chose to go for a turmeric chai tea, which is really great and I've been loving lately. And then after I have my tea, I head over to my couch to work on one of my goals for this year, which is working on my book. So one of the SMART goals I have for this larger moon goal, if you know how I set goals, is to write 750 words per day. I start off by writing in my journal, so writing by hand because I always like to process things, brainstorm things by hand. You might also know that about me. And then I put it in my laptop to save it in the document that I have on my computer. And that acts also as a filter or like a first edit for that rough draft. So I'm just sitting down to write my 750 words. Then when I'm done with my writing goal, I go to make my coffee. So this is what I do before I go get my kids because I do need a little kick and that taste of the sweet caffeine before waking up my two little toddlers. So now that an hour has passed, I will go make myself a real cup of coffee. Now it's time to wake up my little munchkins. I head upstairs. First I go on and turn on both their lights. So I turn on the light in my son's room and I turn on the light in my daughter's room just so they can start to wake up. Then I head back to my son's room, pick him up and bring him to my daughter's room so we can get them dressed in there because I get their clothes ready for the week in my daughter's room, so it's all set up in there. So we just kind of get dressed in there before heading to brush our teeth. This morning, actually, I'm just helping my son brush his teeth because my husband had already helped my daughter and went downstairs, so we're just finishing up and then I grab him and take him downstairs for breakfast. Then once we're downstairs, it's breakfast time and we like to do a couple things while the kids are eating breakfast. The first thing usually is my husband will make our green juice for us. We drink AG1s just to help get those nutrients in. I drink mine a little bit later, which I'll show you, but my husband makes it at this time. You'll also see my daughter, who is not camera shy and is loving the fact that we have the camera out this morning. The other things that I like to do while my kids are eating breakfast is one, I do my daughter's hair. So this morning she already kind of had a hairdo left over from the previous day, so I was just kind of, cleaning it up, making it look a little bit nicer, adding some bows. And then you'll see here I also take some time to do the dishes, unload the dishwasher, particularly this morning. I don't usually like to unload in the morning, but that's just the way it landed. So I'm taking some time to do that while they're eating, at least to get started, and then I'll finish my cleaning routine later. And then it's time to get the kids off to school. My husband usually takes our kids to school, so he takes them outside. This day was snowing, so I didn't want to go outside, so he takes them one by one. First, I say goodbye to my son this morning, and then I say goodbye to my daughter, and they're off. And directly after they leave, I usually take a few minutes, like 5 or 10 minutes, to finish the dishes that I didn't get to get done. And if I didn't get a chance to tidy up the house the evening before, I will just like tidy up the living room and the dining room table. So that's what I'm doing here. Then, when they leave, I take some time to sit down with my devotional and do some prayer. I have a new devotional that I'm loving called Believing Bigger. And I love this time directly after my kids leave for school because if you have toddlers, you probably know that right after getting them out the door, you probably need some prayer because it can be an adventure. So I love to just kind of decompress after everyone leaves the house. I'm there by myself and just spend some time with God. Now it's time to get some movement. I love to get some movement in the morning. I've tried various times in my life to move my workouts to like later in the day, and I always come back to being most consistent when I do them in the morning. So now I just put on my shoes and head downstairs to my basement to get in my workout. I will say that after being on vacation, I am happy to get back to my cardio. I just love it so much how it makes me feel throughout the day. One of the ways that helps me get back on my routines when I've fallen off track is my habits and routines organizer. So if you're interested in finding a more like concrete way to create your habits and routines, I will link my Notion template for my habits and routines organizer below. Then once I'm downstairs, I always start with cardio. So I'll get on the Peloton and do some running. I usually select the scenic route on the Peloton and I'm usually listening to something on my audiobooks. And I like to start just by getting my body warmed up and getting running on the treadmill before I do anything else. So this morning, once I got done with my cardio on the treadmill, I moved over to do some ab work on the side of my treadmill. I have a little space to do some workouts. So I did some abs on this morning. I usually like to do ab work whenever I'm not going to a Pilates class later in the day. So after about 20 minutes on the treadmill, I spent about another 10 minutes, maybe 15, doing about 100 various types of sit-ups on this little machine I have here. So that's what I did next. Then I head upstairs, and the first thing I usually do after working out is meditating, usually about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how much time I have. And I love to do it directly after working out because it just makes it so much easier because you've kind of exhausted your body and in turn your mind, so you don't have so many racing thoughts. After meditating, I jump in the shower for a quick shower, usually to get ready, and then I follow that up by my favorite lotion right now at the time, which is this lilac white scent. It's so nice. I'll link it below if you're interested in it. I did actually think I just picked it up from Target as well. And then I put on the clothes for the day that I picked out the night before. Then it's time for one of my favorite parts, probably after my devotional in my morning routine, is my skincare routine in the morning. It just feels like self-care. I love giving my face a little massage. I did go down and get some lemon water that I didn't show because my skincare routine is like my trigger, so I can have it stacked to drink some water. So whenever I sit down to do that, that usually reminds me to drink my water. And here I'm just putting on my usual morning skincare. You can see I am a Naturium addict and I just enjoy it. I listen to an audiobook and I just give myself a little face massage. After skincare generally comes my makeup routine. I am a proponent of look good, feel good. So as much as I can, I like to take a little time in the morning to just do my very basic, quick, natural go-to makeup for the day. And so that's what I'm doing here. Just taking time to do my little natural glam that I like to do on the days that might be filming, or that I am having some Zoom calls, or just those days that I like to look pretty and film my best, which I try to do as much as I can. I also take some time at this time. I am the person that does their hair after their makeup, to just put a few bumps in my hair and kind of fluff it for the day, so I'm not looking so basic. And I finish off my little beauty session with just spraying my favorite perfume at the moment, which is a Baccarat dupe. It's actually from Target. I'll link it below as well. Now it's time to head downstairs and give myself a little bit of nourishment for the day. This morning I'm making myself a avocado toast with smoked salmon, and also taking some time to take my vitamins. I take many vitamins. I actually have a video on the supplements that I take to keep my energy, but two I'll point out that are especially helpful for my mood. The first is the Happy Gummy, which is a saffron gummy, which I like taking because it's the only gummy one. And then I also take 5-HTP. So if you're interested in supplements for your mood, you should check with your doctor and check out the video I have on that. And one of the recent things I changed in my morning routine is really sitting down to eat my breakfast and be present, practice mindful eating, because so many mornings I'd be rushing to get to work, rushing to sit down in my office, but I like to take a moment just to decompress and enjoy my food. I also like to get a little bit of sunlight at this time. In the summer, I will go outside. Here I'm just sitting by my window because it's freezing outside, but it's also a great idea to get some sun in the morning. And then this takes us to the last part of my morning routine. I head down to my office and I sit down to either review my plan of the day, if I was able to do it the night before, or plan my day. This is based on my weekly plan that I typically do on Fridays, but I'll just take the time to set my intention, what I'm grateful for, answer those prompts in my Mod Ambition planner, as well as time block for the day. Then it all ends with starting work. I will usually open up my laptop and put on some alpha wave study music, and I will start my morning batch of work. Thank you guys so much for joining me in my morning routine. This is my ideal morning routine. I don't always get all these things done, but this is what I shoot for on most days. I hope it gives you some ideas for your own morning routine. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers to planning, manifesting, and enjoying your dream life. Namaste.